Hey everybody. Hey Michael, how you doing? Sorry for being uber late today. Literally, I have a screw loose. Well, a screw lost. Yeah. Actually, it's fact. This is what happened. I do not know. I don't know what happened. I lost the screw, which is not surprising. Hey Gene. Yeah, so see, look, there you go. So it's either replace the screw or replace the piece. I don't know exactly. But we made do. Hey Herbie. Hey Gene. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I still don't know why or how that happened. I don't think I can get this as a separate piece part. So I have to figure it out. That's what we have to go into the crack team of Inside Moonshadow to sort it out and figure out where we can get a replacement of that. So yeah. But technically I have to say that this is pretty good. How's the audio and video? It looks pretty good on my end, but we're in the front of my house, actually. You can see some of and I busted out my heavy-duty, hardcore, professional tripod. The one that's a little heavier, a little more heavy-duty. So it's a little more balance. It's got a little more balance to it. And I should have busted this thing out ages ago. But yes. Yeah. But it's nice to see you all here, despite me being mega late. Wasn't intended. As you know, lately things have been kind of nuts, and I haven't been Mr. Uber prepared either. So I'm sorry. But the show must go on, and I'm here every week for you guys, absolutely, without a doubt. So yeah, a lot of work to do, and a lot of it I can't even blame on my team. I gotta blame on me because it's waiting for my stuff, for me to my input, my narrations, my inputs, and all that good stuff. But it's great to see you all here. You know, we're in October. And this is episode 93. So it's pretty crazy. Yes, it will be we'll have a producer on site. We'll have Ariella on site to do a lot of the help because she's good at that. Absolutely. So that's good, and hopefully we'll get everything going, and I can get everything happening as well from my end, because again, it's a lot about support. Yes, you are, for sure. So here we are. This is a completely different view. This is my front yard, and it's actually a very good connection, or seems to be. Fingers crossed. So I'm not unhappy about the connection here, and I know I have a neighbor doing yard work as well. But welcome to the organic life is messy side of Insight with Moonshadow, which has basically been every episode for like the past 15 of them, or 10 of them, or something like that. I will say this though, there is a lot of great footage that we have to put together. We've already started doing that, and a lot of it we're trying to put not a lot on the cutting room floor. We're trying to hold on to a lot of it. And also, for the record, I'm not using a dead cat today too, so this is straight up just microphone. No dead cat. I can show you what a dead cat is. This is like a dead cat in a bag. But so yeah, so we're not using the dead cat today. But it's really nice to have you guys here. I do know this though, as far as live streaming platforms, I have to give a lot of credit to YouTube, because YouTube is really stable. You know, connection sometimes might be a touch bit wonky, but not bad. I know with Facebook Live, and as you notice, I haven't done a lot of Facebook Lives, is because it's just, I don't see the stability in it. Too often I'm watching someone's Facebook Live, whether it be, it's definitely not connection, it's not connectivity on my end, or I'm watching it on my laptop, and it's something went wrong. Almost like every single time, something went wrong with this feed. Yeah, well, I do hear that the Google Pixel or the Pixel 2 is so wonderful, but we're also even looking at that. So that's also, again, we're always adapting and moving and moving towards getting better and better. And I'm really grateful for everybody still sticking around after all this time. Exactly, Michael. Facebook doesn't have a very good back end, and it doesn't. It doesn't have good support structure underneath. So ultimately, I could have all the best stuff, but then, and this is what I'm glad I didn't start the show yet. Technically, that's my mother. See ya.
I'm going to go to your sisters.
Asta.
They're going to exercise.
Oh, good. Give her my love and the kids.
I will.
And drive safe
Okay.
for the 5 miles you have to drive. This is actually nice, no? Look at this.
I think
Oh.
we're going to have very bad weather.
Oh, bad weather coming up.
Yeah, tomorrow. It's going to be very rain and windy and...
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
We'll drive carefully. So yeah. So there we have it. Yes, it's hard when you inherit a house and family. That's kind of how it is. And strong family too. But it's very different from the American version of having family. You know, the American version of having family and the European version of having family is different. Families actually stick together in the European tradition. So if you need, you know, I know of countless amount of people that family needs help, they will literally up and move for months to do that. So rain is predicted. Oof. Well, good thing I have a Jeep. That's for sure. So that's a plus. It handles pretty much everything. But yes, in regards to YouTube, YouTube does, let me see if I can fix this. Whoa, sorry about that. I have to just stabilize this unit here. But yeah, as far as YouTube is concerned, YouTube does have a stronger platform. The unfortunate thing with YouTube is the fact of exposure. With Facebook, you know, I'm like, bottom line, if I'm about to do whatever, if I have a really good Coca-Cola Classic burp that I want to share on Facebook Live, I go live within 2 seconds. I can have 100 people wanting to see what the hell's going on. I don't know. With YouTube's a little different. They got to work a little harder. They got to find your link, or they got to click on your link and go to a different app when they could just post, share, and connect and click and swipe and do whatever on Facebook Live. So, not that I'm against. In a burping contest you would lose 100%. Well, So with live streaming, I've tried many different ones, and all of you have been along the way in the journey with me through the different platforms, from Blab all the way through. I think I tried Smile Time once, but I never recorded there. From that to what was the other one? Fire Talk. Yep, Fire Talk to all of that, even to Facebook Live a little bit. Yeah, that is kind of nice. So you can add a guest, but you could do the same thing here with YouTube, which we are going to start doing some testing on that, because I do have some ideas that have been in the works that required a little more than just me sitting here sharing and talking with you guys. So it requires people, and requires information, and requires a lot of stuff. So this is why this has been a big test in the remote. Let me see if I can maybe turn this thing down a little bit, actually. There you go. So there's a lot of different other ideas that have come up. So I really wanted to get the mobile part down, and we're pretty close. I'd have to say I would say 90. Yes, and it requires a producer knowing the topic. True. And also, ultimately, too, we're probably about 95% with a setup. I think the setup is pretty good, but we're working on that. And so now it's just building on it. Yeah. So there is some I need to go higher tech for sure. And with me, with everything that I and we have done here, it's mostly been content based, and just so the video and audio is pretty good. But now bumping it up to the tech is getting better. You notice I'm not situated, in my living room. I haven't been in a while, so I'm hoping to do that too. Yes, there'd be a serious rabbit trailing situation. And that happens. A lot of times with even the creative process, if things need to get done, we're in the process of getting things done, and then, it takes quite a while to get to. Yes. And we are working on merchandise as well. That has not been lost. That is something that's being looked at and worked out. And I have actually a couple of new ideas that I have not fully fleshed out yet for logo and all that stuff. Yeah, see, one step ahead. So yeah, I do have a couple of ideas regarding logos, because you want to do it something simple. I can't go as elaborate as that painting as I have, as much as I would love that. It would just be, it's a lot of colors. So yeah, so in the process of logo and process of all that, and wanting to really push the production up. Actually, too, I've had some pretty interesting dreams as well, which I'm hoping some of them are prophetic, because a couple of them were the fact of Insight with Moonshadow bumping up into a higher tier of productivity, and also being on a network. So I don't know if that was wishful thinking or what. It could have just been, just random, hopeful, wishful thoughts, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. But that would be pretty fantastic to do that. That would be pretty damn cool. So yeah. So hopefully that's the case. But yeah. So that's basically it. A lot of, there's just been a lot. Yeah, you see me doing it? Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Gene, for your support. And again, it's something where it's kind of like the little show that could, really, in what it feels like, because it's taken a lot of time to get to this point. 93 episodes, we've been consistent with it and everything. So now it's moving forward from that and going from there. I even have students that I teach English to, even they're popping on or checking out the replays and subscribing, so that's kind of nice. Last I had seen, I think we have like 126. So any of the new subscribers, thank you. Also, too, just a little reminder, if you do want to get the notifications, you can click on the little bell. I know I don't say that often. I just started saying that last week. But if you click on the little bell, you will get notified on when I'm live or when I put up or upload a video. So there's also that, too. So you can click on the little bell down below. I think it's down that way, or it could be that way, or that way. But there's a little bell, as well as next to the subscribe button. You can hit the little bell, and then you'll also get notified when I go live. It's not like a spammy kind of thing. Yeah. And it's actually, the energy is pretty good on what we're doing. It's more or less life getting in the way. So I'm hoping to kind of toss life to the side a little bit, and or actually bringing life into the mix in such a way where there's less concern about all this other stuff. That would be fantastic. So coming up, I give you, since I'm not 100% concrete on the topic today, I'm really not, I'm not gonna lie. Some stuff's coming up. A couple of new locations will be coming up, so be prepared for that. Probably live, so probably be a couple of insights, a couple of shows, maybe 3, where it'll be on location somewhere else, not just in my yard, not just at my house, but actually out and about. Give you a little hint, potentially, without saying too much, but witches. So yeah, so hopefully that would be one of the I want to say probabilities, not even possibilities. It'll be the probability. Yes, and it may be sooner than expected. Yes. So that's good. That's coming up. So, yes, that would be very, very cool. And also, too, I know that we were debating on trying potentially a meetup of some sort. Yes, this is Halloween. That's right. Also, too, the veil is getting thinner and thinner as we progress towards the end of Halloween to Samhain. So there's a lot of energies that are happening right now. We have a moon, I believe right now the moon is in Libra, going on to Scorpio. So there's that also. So big decision. There's a lot of decision making can be made in this moon right now. So that's important. Let's see what else. What else can I keep you updated on? So yeah. So there will be the next couple of shows or so. They will be on location, and I can promise you they'll be a bit better. And again, I know I have to get on top of things, because ultimately it's really, really important that, it's just been hard. Without getting all into, all of you know I'm pretty transparent, but it's been hard. Just day to day, it's been difficult. And we all, and I know that a lot of people, the overall energy of what's going on today is difficult. A lot of changes are happening. A lot of stability is getting kind of turned upside down a little bit. A lot of that's happening right now. And then, of course, with the veil is becoming thinner and thinner. So there's that, coming up. Yes, maybe we can do that. Maybe have artists design a logo. Maybe that could be this show. Maybe that could be today. Maybe we can do that today. Since I'm so decisive on a topic today. There's the potential of so many different things. Yes, so yeah, it's been pretty difficult, going as of lately. And one thing I have to say is a lot of people are very, very good at. A lot of people are good at being able to hide what's going on. Now, I myself, I don't hide it. I may not share it outwardly on social media. I may not put it all out there. This isn't a Blue Cross commercial. Hey, I got a corn on my foot. Want to see it? No. That's a little too much. TMI is not a good idea. I've seen it go to hell real quick. Yeah, we do have some potentials. Definitely. So I also believe, as I've broadcasted before, what you see is pretty much what you get with me, but you don't always get that with just anybody. I'm not always shaven, as you can tell. I'm not always looking presentable and all put together and all that. I don't have a green screen or anything behind me. So what you see is pretty much kind of what you get. So this is one of the major reasons why I'm really, really super appreciative and grateful that you guys come in and you guys watch the replays. And I'll tell you, I look at the analytics and a lot of people come back and rewatch the replay. Yeah, well, yeah, but still, it's true. And also being an atypical YouTuber too, my videos aren't shorter. Just in the beginning of this is already 24 minutes, almost 25 minutes, and then I'm just preparing. That's all it is at the moment. But yeah. But looking to see what else we can do. So yeah, so merchandising and a lot of these other things we're looking at building and seeing what we can do from this point forward and making things better and improving on things. So I think that is really important as well. Boy Scout motto, always be prepared. Now, that's the funny thing, is that I tend to be prepared for most things, and I used to be really prepared with the topic for the show and everything, even as much as the day of or a couple of days before. But then life has been really difficult, where it's gotten extra challenging. And there have been a few Mondays. How about a show on see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil? Actually, that would be. That's something that we can do, and we can even do that today. About the energy you put out. You are what you... I may have probably touched base on that already, thinking about it. But yeah. Yeah. There's always the possibility right in this day and age right now, it's so much harder to be a good person. So maybe we'll do that. We'll talk about that today. There's my crow. One of my totems. They've been around a lot lately, which is, it's connected to the great mystery, to magic mystery, and also connected to sacred law. And sacred law is the spirit of the law. Like some of those things like honesty is the best policy, and a lot of that is more the spiritual connections to how to be the best person you could be. So that's a lot of what Crow and Raven is all about. And it's a trickster as well. But that would be an interesting topic. Yeah. Well, yes. Yes. And you know, Gene, it's true. I look at... that was an interesting series of movies, yeah. The Crow. And they make sense, and a lot of them do have some kind of truth and substance to them as well. I think some of it was based on some kind of different types of myths. So I don't think they just imagined all of it. But I've been looking at, I look at live stream, a lot of people at live stream, and I look at a lot of the platforms out there. And I will watch people's live streams, whether it be, Periscope, Facebook, Instagram. I watch them. And my take on it is sometimes I think that people think just because some of those things you can erase the broadcast and it's gone. I'm not sure about it being gone. So you really need to be careful what you put out there. So ultimately, I subscribe to be watchful and think before what you put out there. So that to me is very, very important. I think that to me is extra important, because be prepared. You gotta be prepared. For sure. But yeah, I'm hoping that you can actually hear the sound right now. Can you hear the crickets? Can you hear that? This is one of the reasons why my hometown is just amazing. Yeah. Now, some people couldn't sleep with that kind of noise. I could. I can hear crows, hear crickets, hear a little bit of the breeze in the background. Can you hear them? This microphone's pretty good. I have to say, it's been definitely, the updated equipment is definitely helpful. For sure. Yeah, you can hear crickets, you can hear the crows too. But, all right, yeah, we can do that today. How about that? That's something that's a good topic, I think. Off the cuff, right there, boom. Imagine that. So, let's see. So, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. I don't know what the order is on that, though. I think it's see no evil first, I think. But I'll have my trusty producer double check on it. There you go, see? I think it's see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. I think. And actually, I have a set of Buddhas. Yep, see, hear, speak. Okay. I kind of figured. That kind of seems like the evolution is kind of way to go. So yeah. So I should probably start the show, right? Do the formal part of it. Probably so. Oh my goodness. Well, there you go. This is tiptoeing through my subconscious and how it potentially can work and why I do not invite anyone into my subconscious. This is why. It could be a very scary place. It's kind of like if Guillermo del Toro from Pan's Labyrinth and Tim Burton and Willy Wonka and Albert Einstein decided to create a subconscious. That would be mine. So yeah, that'd be kind of crazy. See, there you go. So the three monkeys are Mizaru covering his eyes, who sees no evil. Kizaru covering his ears. It goes so fast. Do that again. I know I'm going to have to... You may have to post that a couple of times for me to catch it. But yeah, we'll start the show formally and do that. Okay, so Kikazaru covers his ears, who hears no evil, and Iwazaru, who covers his mouth, to say no evil. Cool. That I didn't even know. With the trusty internet nearby, well, in the West Coast, it's always good. So yeah, so we'll get the show started, and also, if you could remind me of those when we start, that'd be great. So you may have to put that up again, that little paragraph, and I'll let you know, because it's three monkeys. So when I say, thank you very much, thank you very much, and you'll do it slower. Fantastic. Well, I think it doesn't make a difference. I think with the live chat, it just goes away. That's the downside to doing stuff mobile. There is multiple crows. Literally, I'm not even kidding. I see lots of them. They're flying all over. And they call them a murder of crows. Interesting totem as well. Love that they're one of my totems. So, okay. So let's get this thing started. They want you to do a crow show. They'd always want me to do a crow show. They're always around. They're always around me. It's true. Doesn't matter where I am. I was in South Africa and they showed up. I was in the city. I remember being in Boston one day. Crows showed up. There are places that I was not really, it was not really crow friendly, really. It wasn't like it'd be a lot of people. If it's too populated, too many people, crows don't usually tend to stick around. They're more, as much as they're social with people, they kind of more leery. They kind of don't stay too close to people. Not like seagulls. Seagulls, if you have food, they'll practically eat out of your hand. So it's a little different with crows. Also, too, they're really intelligent animals. So they can actually literally imitate very much. The corvids, they're from the corvid family. They also can imitate like parrots and parakeets. You just don't have the. They just don't have the, what am I going to call it? You have to have time for them to listen, to hear it and hear it and hear it and hear it, repetition, for them to grab onto it. And henceforth why the crow and raven is the trickster, right? And raccoons, believe it or not, raccoons are actually related to bears. See, this is what I'm saying. This is the crazy thing about this, is that literally I've seen at least either it's the same half dozen crows, or there could be a dozen or so crows flying around, which is very, very cool. Yeah. Very, very cool stuff. All right, so let's get this show started, because you all need something to do. You know, got lives to lead and stuff. So it probably would be good to, let me see, we'll turn this down a little bit maybe. Whoa. Okay. I'm trying to moderate my own lighting now. I was never thinking of that way back when. Who would have thunk? So yeah. That was weird. All right. So let's get the show started. So, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. This is just how it works with this some days. All right. Okay, we got 5:44, by the way. Welcome to Insight with Moonshadow. I'm Moonshadow. I'm an integrative holistic therapist, CHI-vangelist, an overall earthy, crunchy guy. Someone that's a global citizen that goes around and just enjoys the organic experiencing of life. So, ultimately, a spirit or soul having a human experience and sharing it with all of you here on YouTube. So, in this long drawn out pre-show, we today being, it's just times being hard, and it's and as John Lennon says, life is what happens when you're busy making plans, and it's very true. It's very true. So all the plans you want to make in the world don't necessarily work. But today the topic came up through our discussion in the pre-show. So here we go. Now, looking at, in the grand scheme of things, there are things that we're taught when we're very young, right? And there are little tenets and little things that we're taught, little bits of knowledge, such as such as honesty is best policy, keep your elbows off the table when you eat, things like that. We're kind of raised with that. And we've kind of forgotten, some people have forgotten that a little bit. The world has kind of changed in such a bit where it's different now. Now, of course, one of those things, which we'll be talking about today, is about, you see these things all the time. You see these three wise monkeys, right? Or the Mystic Apes. And they represent the idea of see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Now, in one, if you really think about it, it really sounds so simple, doesn't it? See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. So now, outside of Japan, their names are Mizaru, which are covering his eyes to see no evil. And then you have, I think it was Mikazaru, which is covering his ears to hear no evil. And of course, and then there's the other one was Litsa. There was like an L there. Let me think on that. And then Mazaru, which is covering his mouth, who speaks no evil. So now, we see these all the time. But do we actually apply their knowledge? So a lot of it is being mindful. And this is one of the things, if I've been consistent with anything for 93 episodes, is about being mindful, about taking good care of yourself, taking good care of the world, and all of it being really, really important. So now, yes, we could be, let's go back in the beginning. We have Genesis, way back in the beginning, where we were blissfully unaware. They didn't see anything because they weren't aware of it. They didn't say anything because they didn't know it existed. And of course, since if they couldn't see it or blinded to it, and they couldn't hear it because it didn't exist in their realm of awareness, then how could they speak about it? So one of the big things of that story was the fact that we became aware. We ate from the tree of knowledge, metaphorically. Now, with see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, my take on it is maybe quite different than the traditional take. Now, in seeing no evil, it could mean that you choose not to see it, that you're oblivious to it. And that is possible. I've known a lot of people that were clueless or oblivious to things that were happening around them, and it was blatant. From being an intuitive, a psychic, and an empath at a young age, I had no choice but to be aware of the smells, of the sounds, of the knowledge that was getting given to me or being dropped into my lap or into my mind. So I really didn't have much of a choice but to be mindful or to be aware or be self-aware of all these things. So this is a big part of it. So I don't believe. There's an add-on too. Okay, we'll get to the add-on as well. Because in seeing no evil, now if you choose not to see any evil, you can almost find yourself in peril if you see no evil. So it's kind of nice to be watchful and be aware. Just Saturday, I was out and about. And when I was out and about, I've learned a few things. Before, I used to be a lot more vigilant. So at this moment in time, I'm more focused on allowing my guides to let me know when there's danger. So I'm more trusting of my guides, and less vigilant of my senses of, hearing, taste, touch, and all that. So it's kind of like an immediate instinct, more so. But to be aware, so to see what's around you. It's good to be vigilant. It's good to be aware, but not in a paranoid kind of way. So see no evil. Now, in the world we have today, there is quite a lot of unbalanced, not so great energy. You'd have to basically be living under a rock to not to see it, or not to hear it, or not to see the news. Or, even if you don't watch television, you'd have to not have television and not be anywhere where there are people to not know of or hear of what's happening. Especially now with social media, it just is a complete game changer. So now, in seeing no evil, in looking at things, I look at it from a different perspective. In seeing no evil, it's being aware of the big picture, being aware of it, but choose not to feed that vision. Be aware of it, but not feed that vision. So to me, see no evil, from my perspective, is more, don't perpetuate and don't add to. Be aware of it, but don't add to it. So that would be one. That would be in the seeing no evil. So what could we do if we see no evil? If we looked at the beauty of things, not just the ugliness, wouldn't the world be a better place? I would think it would. If instead, if we didn't look at life from a superficial, shallow point of view, and we actually looked at it from more of looking at it from the organic beauty of it, because even in death, there's beauty. And we're in the process now. Like a couple of shows ago, we were talking about the changes of seasons. Just now, within the past few days, and me driving up north as well, or actually south. I went south. But driving south, I noticed that the trees were starting to change color. Like even in my neighborhood now, the trees are starting to change color. But again, Gaia needed to have the temperature drop for that to change. And there's beauty in the hibernation or the sleep state of the trees and the season. So if we see the beauty of it, it's not all that bad. It's not terrible. It's not horrible. So that's see no evil. Wouldn't it be nice if we can see the beauty in what we would think is not beautiful? So that's number one. So now let's move on to the hearing. Now, if you look at the hearing no evil, and we have an add-on to that too. So there should be a fourth monkey. We'll call him Fred. We'll call him Fred. I'm sure he has a name, but we'll call him Fred for now. So we'll talk about Fred in a moment. But, so now hearing no evil. Now we're bombarded with news. We're bombarded with propaganda. We're bombarded and overwhelmed with, buy this product, do this, do that, for you to be acceptable, you need to do this. Or for you to be beautiful or sexy. You need to take this or use this product or that kind of thing. So then we are brought to that level of hearing a lot of this. We don't just see it, we also hear it too. We also hear it. Now, what do we do in this situation? Like, for a perfect example, whenever I've had, and this is tough because this happens all over. This doesn't matter where you are. It happens all over the world. It doesn't matter what language you live in. It's the gossip. It's the rumors and gossip. We are raised with that stuff. We hear that stuff all the time. You know? Like, what's the first thing you hear when you hear, oh, did you hear about Ralph? What happened? Well, there you go. That's the start of hear no evil. Because ultimately, would it benefit Ralph in you sharing his dismay? Probably not. Would it be helpful to share Ralph's story and then have a bunch of people criticize on his social media? Would that be helpful? Would that help Ralph, metaphorically? No, it wouldn't. So now, Ralph now has 1,000 people knowing the situation as opposed to just the people that he entrusted. So a lot of times, and again, this is not easy. This is not an easy thing to do because we're naturally inquisitive creatures. We're naturally curious people and curious beings. When you hear, did you hear about Ralph? Did you hear about, his live stream? Did you see his Facebook Live yesterday? I usually run through the checklist. Is this helpful? Is this going to be good? Do I really want to know? So I'll ask, was it good? Oh no, it's terrible. Oh my God, it was horrible and all this happened and people, and they're talking about this and they're saying that. And I'm like, I don't want to know about Ralph. I will wish Ralph well. So again, it's not being what could be. It's more like not adding to it. There are a lot of things that I've seen and heard and I haven't spread them. I still try to spread the light the best I can. And it's not always easy. It's not always easy to do such a thing. It is not easy. It's not easy, especially with what we see and what we hear. So hear no evil. You can hear it, just don't entertain it. So that's the whole hear no evil, which is something that, Well, yeah, but see, there's difference. There's difference between bringing up, and I do it as well, is bring up things to bring into the awareness, not so much to perpetuate the problem, but to promote thinking and provoke thinking so people can help change the situation. Like Jean does with her speaking about domestic violence. And that's a big topic, very much like in NFL. There was a bunch of stories in the NFL that weren't good about NFL players being, not being able to keep their hands to themselves and being heavy-handed with their significant others. So, of course, for legality reasons, and I get that too, of course, again, you got to look at the shadow side of things, for legality purpose and the litigious nature of life. People don't want to. They don't want you boycotting NFL because someone didn't know how not to hit his significant other. So of course we need to bring it into awareness. We need to open up the conversation and open up the topic. So hearing about it, hearing no evil, is really interesting. And again, we're going to talk about Fred, the fourth monkey. Yes, Fred is an important monkey, actually. And we got to see. I'll have to find out from my trusty producer to see if Fred actually has a name instead of me naming him Fred. So, Fred may have a name. He may not. He may stay Fred, the fourth monkey. So now, hearing no evil. So, it's easy to hear and spread a lot of these, but it's not necessarily worth it, you know? So now in hearing gossip or hearing rumors, sometimes people will just give it to you anyway, whether you want to or not. You can say, no, I don't want to hear about it. I'm like, oh, but you gotta hear this. It's blah, 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 blah. And they tell you. So you hear it. Now, where do you put it? You go, okay. I try to send good juju. So what I'll do is I'll end up saying, okay, well, I hope Ralph is okay. It's a shame that Ralph is going through this difficulty. And I send good juju his way. And then that will be that. And then if I find that, if I get insight on, if I'm told to give Ralph a message or to reach out to Ralph, then I'll do that and say, hey, Ralph, I heard about this. I hope everything is okay. If you need anything, reach out. But other than that, I'll leave you to what you got to do. But if you need any advice or you need any help or you need anything or you just need someone to listen, shoot me a message. Oh, Shizaru. So it's not Fred. So we'll go talk about Shizaru too. And we will go back over these monkey names so I don't have to rename them, because I would do that. I've done that with people. So not Fred. Yeah. I still kind of like Fred, though. And it's interesting, I remember Shizaru, though. I remember that name right away. No wonder he's one of the most important monkeys. So yeah, so now you got hear no evil. So you're looking at it, and what do you do with when you hear? What's the whole point of hearing no evil? I think, from my perspective, I think it's less hearing no evil and just not going into it, not making it worse, not being part of the rumor mill, not being part of the gossip train, not being part of that, that mob mentality that we know oh so well now in 2017, thank you to the current administration. That's at that point, that's as far as I go with speaking about my political views right now on YouTube. So, hear no evil. So don't entertain it any further. Don't go any further with this, with hearing no evil. Now, let's move on to speak no evil. Now you have the third monkey, which is speak no evil. So now we've gone to the point of we've seen it, we don't want to spread it. It's there, so we kind of put it aside and say, look, I'm going to just do me best I can and be the best person I can be. There we go. So then we have the hearing. So you hear all this stuff and you go, okay, well, am I going to let this disrupt my Zen? No. So whatever you hear, stay focused and balanced, right? So now we go on to speak no evil. Now, in speaking no evil, it's don't add to it. It's like like a toxic, traumatic game of telephone. Now, I'm sure you've played this game in school when you were younger. And it happens in life all the time. You can have 12 people. Okay, I can even probably go as low as 6. But we'll go 12 people. So 12 people. And you could try this. You can try this at home, kids. Have 12 people in a circle. And you start off with a story or an event. And have the first person read the event. And then you're not passing this event. You're not passing this piece of paper to another person. You are only going to whisper that event or that what you remember into the next person's ear. So that's into the first person into the second person's ear. I can almost guarantee money that by the time it hits the fourth and the fifth person, maybe even sooner, that's already changed. It's already been altered. Because I've heard, from my perception, I've only heard this much, so I pass on that much. And then it becomes more and more diluted and changed and manipulated until it has gone from, did you hear, okay, perfect example. Let's go into that, into Speak No Evil. And let's bring Ralph back, because Ralph is cool peeps. So now Ralph goes ahead and he had a little bit too much to drink and he goes on Facebook Live or Instagram or Periscope or wherever. And he decides to have a drunken meltdown. Right? So now, so yeah, kind of like that, like a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, yeah. So now you have Ralph. So now Ralph goes ahead and has a couple of too many tequila shots, and then Ralph decides to be a little foolish and doesn't think twice about hitting the live button or not live button. So now, say a dozen people saw it. So now it's, oh, did you see Ralph's live stream yesterday? Oh yeah. He was doing shots. He was going crazy. He was doing all that stuff, and he was doing tequila that night, and he was like just a mess. Okay, so it goes from that to the next person. The next person could say, "Oh, did you hear about Ralph? I heard that Ralph was doing vodka shots, and he was throwing up live." And then, of course, as you know, we're all very, very intelligent beings here. It just progresses to more degradation, and how Ralph has just went from a little bit of a drunken stupor to he was practically, hanging out of a window with a whiskey bottle, not even tequila anymore. So, what do we do with Speak No Evil? Now, you hear it and you saw it and you know it, but should you spread it? Now, instead, on my take of it, I would say, I hope Ralph's okay. So if someone says, oh, did you hear about Ralph? He was trashed and he was on a bender and he really did this and that. I'm like, wow, well, I hope Ralph's okay. I hope he's okay today. Right. And all of a sudden, from Ralph being a good person, never had any kind of faux pas happen, never had any kind of issue happen, loses his stuff for one moment, and all of a sudden it goes from Ralph being a good upstanding person to a raging, crazy man alcoholic. That quick. That's the speed of how the energy happens today. So, I would just wish Ralph well. That's what I would do. Apparently, I'm not part of the norm. Not everybody would wish Ralph well. Some people would wish harm upon Ralph and troll him or say all kinds of nastiness or whatever. But again, Ralph could have just had a bad day. Could have been that simple. But unless you walk a mile in someone's shoes, you really don't know what the story is. So don't spread it. Don't add to it. Don't make it any worse for Ralph. Because he probably shouldn't hit the live button in the first place. Just a little moonsight for Ralph, if Ralph ever decided to do such a thing again. But a lot of people tend to do this, and then this energy is spread, and then since thoughts are things, it turns into something different, and it can potentially get uglier. So speak no evil. So what's the point of speaking no evil? Is that you are now not attaching yourself to that. You're not attaching yourself to speaking with such energy or such venom. You're actually trying to be part of the solution. You can either reach out to Ralph and say, hey, I heard about what happened. I hope you're okay. If you need to talk, we can, just let me know. Or who the hell you think you are doing that? You know, my kids are watching. It's just, it goes crazy. Life is a crazy place. So, speak no evil. So now let's move on to Fred, or Shizaru. And we will recap their names again with the trusty magic of television or YouTube. We will do that. And I don't have my teleprompter, so you guys are actually going to see it here too. See? So now we're going to have Fred come up as well. We're going to talk about Fred. So now, the interesting thing about Fred is a very important monkey, or Shizaru. Now, why is Shizaru such an important monkey? The fourth monkey. The monkey that didn't always show up to the party. Right? I'll tell you why he doesn't show up to the party. Because Shizaru does know evil. So do no evil. So if you choose to do no evil, then you don't really receive a lot of evil either. Does that make sense? If I don't poke my eye, then I won't get my finger in my eye. Seems common sense, doesn't it? But common sense ain't common. So I call it uncommon sense, because not everyone actually holds on to it, not actually has it, not actually lives it, not actually subscribes to it. A lot of people just don't bother with common sense. You know? Like, wow, that's really embarrassing. That's really embarrassing event for Ralph. I think I'll tell 20 of my friends. So Ralph can really be embarrassed about it. I think I'm going to spread it on my own social media. I think I'll repost it to help Ralph, because Ralph is amazingly just clueless. So I'm going to show Ralph how bad he is. So yeah. So of course Shizaru, or Fred, I lovingly call him, he doesn't show up at the party because he'd rather do other things. He'd rather be more productive. Maybe Ralph isn't at the party. Maybe Fred isn't at the party. Maybe Fred went to go visit Ralph with coffee and said, "Hey, dude, you okay? Need to talk about it? I figured I'd bring you a coffee." That's it. So Fred is a good monkey. I'm not going to say Fred is the better monkey out of all of them, because they all have their traits. They all have their characteristics. They all have their properties. They all have their importance. But without Fred or Shizaru, it's a little difficult. So he's like, he brings it all together. He's like, and not spiked coffee either. That's right. No spiked coffee for Ralph. Ralph would probably want to spike it himself if he goes back to his live stream or his social media to say, "Oh crap, what the hell did I do? Damn. No." So yeah. So Fred has good intentions. So Shizaru is the spiritual practice of doing no evil. So you don't do it. Just like when, and I get this is hysterical too. It's kind of like lemmings. Lemmings will follow each other over a cliff. You know what I mean? There are people that are followers, and that's fine if that's what you do. I'm not going to judge or criticize. But be aware. Just be aware of what you're following and who you're following, into what, into where. You just got to be aware of it, right? So now, you've heard this saying before, is why'd you do that? Because everybody else did it. And they go, well, if your friends jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge too? Good question. See, Fred wouldn't do such a thing. Fred would be like, now these are very, very wise monkeys, right? Or in my case, I have 4 wise Buddhas, but I have 3 wise Buddhas. I don't have the 4th one. I should probably get a 4th one. But I don't know how they would emulate do no evil in a little statue. I'll have to research that. And I will too, because this is interesting. So now, there's a lot of wisdom in this in this monkey proverb. So now you have Fred. So Fred doesn't go to every party because Fred knows that people are going to be clueless. It may be a great time too. It may be fun, but there may be too much drinking. There might be alcohol to the point of people getting sick. There may be some foolishness that he doesn't want to be part of. So he may show up, make an appearance and leave, or not show up at all. Because Fred's thinking. Shizaru's thinking. Should I or should I not attend such party? So, and I will have to say, for the record, I also do the same thing. Everything is insightfully and instinctively and intuitively always thought through. Should I or shouldn't I comes in, and then my guides will give me an immediate answer. Yes, you should, or no, bad juju, don't go, red flag. That happened with a few things, and I wouldn't be here alive today if I ignored my intuition on 2 or 3 occasions. So yeah. So we could learn a lot from Fred. Well, we can learn a lot from all 4 monkeys, really, if you really, really think about it. We can learn a lot from them because ultimately they have so much wisdom that they're, that you see them everywhere. See, this is the interesting thing about these proverbs and these messages and these oracles. They're traditionally, they have been around forever, some centuries. And we decide to ignore them. A lot of spiritual texts and a lot of spiritual messages and a lot of spiritual laws, they're not written down in such a way where we have to focus on them all the time. So ultimately, it's important to have and to listen to some of these metaphors and these allegories and these stories. And in looking at it, if you only are practicing one, it kind of is incomplete, right? Perfect example, your 5 senses, or 6 senses in a lot of our cases. What you hear, you see, you touch, you feel, you taste, you know. All those things have their strength. All those things have their weaknesses. All those things have their point. They all have their lesson. So that's like if you went through school and just learned math. That's it. You just learn math. You'd be phenomenal at math, but you know nothing else of social studies, history. You don't know anything else of any other subject. So they all have, every single element adds on and superimposes on each other. So ultimately, that's the really important thing. So all 4 monkeys are important. All 4. All of them have their strength. And all of them have their weakness, too. So now, your Shizaru or your Fred, you have seen some kind of thing you shouldn't have seen, or you're aware of something. You either add to it, engage it, or don't engage it. Just be aware of it. So you're seeing it. And a perfect example is the news. You see the news. And that's very, very true as well, as Ariel is putting. Each one keeps the other one in check. So it's like a checks and balances system. So they're a cool crew. They're all watching over each other. So if they're all watching each other, this is literally, these lights are really rock because it is literally almost pitch dark right now. Which is fun. This is great. So now, they all check and they watch out for each other. So they're like a band of brother monkeys, right? They all have their focus or their focal point. So now you've seen something happen. You've seen the news. And you go, okay, well, that's horrible. That's a horrible thing to see. So now what happens is then you hear about it. Then you hear about it from other people. Oh, did you hear what, blah, 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 this and that and this other thing. Then you deal with it as you see fit in hearing it. Then you have to make the choice of whether you speak it, whether you share it, whether you share your own view. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. But that's when the fourth monkey comes in, is the complete cyclical nature of it all. Is what do you do with what you've heard and what you've seen and what you've thought about? Do you say it? Do you do it? Do you share it? What do you do? Good question. And I have to say, this topic came from pre-show discussion, and it turned out to be a really, really great topic, actually. So I've always dug the four monkeys anyway, and I knew there had to be more than three monkeys. But even I was educated a bit more in learning, so I've learned alongside of you about there being a fourth monkey, Fred. I lovingly call him. So, let's do, what we'll do is, let's see here, it's 6:23. So we'll do a monkey overview. Hey, get out of my head. So we have Mizaru, sees no evil. You've got Mikazaru, hears no evil. You got Mazaru, speaks no evil. And then you have Shizaru, does no evil. Right? So yeah. So no different. They all work together. So can we learn from these wise four monkeys? Absolutely. We could definitely learn from these four monkeys. What's the takeaway? You know? What's the takeaway about these four monkeys? Well, my moonsight on this is this. You may see a lot, and you may hear a lot, and you may want to share a lot. But be aware that what you see, what you hear, and what you say makes an impact. So do what you will with all that knowledge and wisdom. Take a real good look at whether or not you should share that post or not. Think about whether it's worthwhile to spread someone's unfortunate event. Now, let's look at the positive on that. We have Ralph. We spoke about Ralph earlier. Ralph went on a little bit of a bender, which never did before. What could we have done in using the four monkeys' wisdom? Well, we've seen it. We've heard it. And we decided to do something about it. So now I'm going to speak about it. So I reach out to Ralph and say, hey, look, I want to help. What's going on? So you reach out to Ralph. So there is always a light side of it and a dark side of it. There's a light side of the Force and a dark side of the Force. Honestly, there is. There's a shadow side and a light side. And now you're seeing a little bit of both. Because right now, it is completely dark. Right now. So, luckily, with the power of technology, we're still here at the moment. But ultimately, there is a light and dark to all of it, to everything. Now, I've shared this story prior to, speaking of light and dark and the light and dark side of things, I heard a story about this woman that she had contracted cancer. And I don't remember her name at this moment in time, but she had contracted cancer, and she, of course, focused on her well-being to try to be as healthy as possible, try to heal, try to get past it. So she became a big spokesperson, and she became a chairperson in a group, in an organization, to want to bring awareness to cancer and try to bring other people together, a tribe, bring a tribe together. So she went ahead and did that. Now, in this journey of hers, she founded this group and everything. What ends up happening is she goes into remission. No more cancer. 0. Now, let's think about this for a second. So she goes into remission. So now, many things could happen. If we use this four monkey scenario, this wisdom parable or metaphor, some people could be like, you don't have cancer anymore, so you don't belong. You're not suffering like we do, so you don't belong. Who are you? There's a shadow side. But I'm going to offer you the light side of it. Maybe the reason why she contracted cancer in the first place was to bring more awareness, so she can bring people together, so she can start a cause, so she can create the ripple in the pond to go into remission. Now, at the end of the story, she was still a founder of this group, and now, it was all about trying to empower people to do what they need to do. So, good question. Did she get cancer because that was her life purpose? Did she experience this because her life purpose was to bring people together and to bring this cause to the forefront, to shine a light on that particular type of cancer? Good question. And from my perspective, probably so. It was probably meant for her to bring that awareness out. So very much like Jean speaks about domestic violence, it could very much also be a beacon of hope for the cause, for people to understand what that is about. And of course, there's, and I always send good juju to Eugene, for sure, because I know that it is definitely not an easy walk for you. You're not having an easy earthly walk presently. And I'm always hoping and wishing the best for you no matter what. You may not even know that I'm doing it, but I do. And I'm sure other people also do the same and kind of put it out there for you to feel better and be better, as good as you can be, and that's important. So sending the best juju, may no pain happen, and may you stay strong and do what you need to do. So it's important for you to continue building on yourself and doing the best you can to make yourself better. So my suggestion for you is try your damnedest not to allow any negative energy in. You've got a lot you've already got a full plate. So definitely, I would say, leave any of that negativity behind and start and be the beacon as you have been, because I've noticed that and I've seen that Don't think that I don't see these things, because I have. I've seen you really put out there good energy and a lot of wisdom out there, whether you're reaching out to one person or you're reaching out to 100 people, you're still doing it. So atta girl, that's all I gotta say. You keep it up. Keep the fight. Very, very important for you to do that. So, you're very welcome. And also, too, Michael's very good at support, too. Michael is always sending good juju to people, too. He's a very, very good support person, for sure. He's always there in a pinch. So, again, this is the important part. This is why gratitude and appreciation comes in so strongly, because we are all of the same tribe. We may all be uniquely different. We may all be different colors, different origins. We may come from different places, but we all started somewhere and from the same place, pretty much. We're all part of the same tribe, whether you're a good person or not a good person. It really all depends on what monkey you choose, and if you choose to listen to the 4 monkeys. Because if you did, I can almost guarantee that your life would be a better place. You'd be in a better place, and your life would be a better thing. It'd be a better existence. By listening to some of the simplicity of what to do and not to do. And instead of having it be uncommon sense, making it common. That would be phenomenal. That would be the way to go, I think, anyway. Who am I? Just another soul having a human experience. But sharing my own views and my own perceptions of the world and what I'm told from my inner counsel out to all of you. It's part of my process and part of my purpose, and that's why I'm here. So I want to thank all of you for being here. Thank you for coming on, even though I was a bit tardy today. I've been a bit late lately, but still, every week I'm still here. I do my best not to press the live button. So every Monday, it's there, no matter what. So I want to thank you all for being here. Hey, Tina, I'm just really grateful for all of your support and everyone being here, all your ideas. A lot of people have also given suggestions, and I thank you for that. And all of you really inspire me to do what I do. This is why I keep it live. This is why I'm not just filming it. Because, and there may be a point where I do some of it where it's going to be filmed and uploaded too. And all of you are so welcome in checking that part out. So that may be another aspect to what I'm doing and more of what I'm sharing as well in a vlog format, which I've been thinking about that the past week. Is it more work? Yes. But it might be cathartic. It might be helpful to other people to, go a little deeper into the private, into the private musings, as opposed to just having a topic every week, that kind of thing. So yeah, so we'll see. But I want to be, just to be very thankful for all of you being here, and it really matters that all of you here, whether it's 3, 10, 20, 100, it doesn't matter, because all of you matter. Each one of you have done your part and really been helpful and really been motivators to keep me doing for what I do and inspiring. So, as I say every week, be strong, be amazing, be you. Thanks for being here, and be aware of the 4 monkeys. Those are the kind of monkeys that you'd want to have around. So, see you guys next week. You guys take care. See you soon.